Please subscribe to Bear Nerd Fund. Smash the like button. Goodbye.
Hail to all. We do not need. Hail to all. Now come on, Hollywood. Stop smelling your own farts. You might get mistaken for arse sniffers. Remember, when you go woke, you go broke. Well, I got a little background music playing. One of my songs is playing, Empty Promises. Actually, it's one of the lyrics, Empty Promises, and kind of matches up because, you know, Paramount and CBS and all of them, they gave us empty promises. Disney, they gave us empty promises. It was all about power to them, power control, power trip. That's what it was about. Yeah, and if you notice the little oval there, it's a little bit transparent so you can kind of see the letters behind. I just discovered this from on my screen app for my phone. Good app. Doesn't put a watermark in there. And so it just makes sense that promises made in the lyrics, empty promises, it fits, you know. Politicians giving empty promises and lip service, and it doesn't matter whether they're the R or they're the left. It doesn't fucking matter, man. It's all the same fucking thing. They don't give a shit about you. They never did. And those of you that have followed the Grateful Dead for years and seen Jerry Garcia shows and Grateful Dead shows, you know there was people out there watching us, taking fucking pictures of us. Because we just don't give a fuck. We don't give a fuck about what they have to say. Never did, never will, not going to happen now. So, let's get to this article. Star Trek Discovery Stars gives their, take on the woke controversy. This ought to be good and ought to be really interesting. So, let's see here. There's those two fucking jokers. So, alright. On May 14, 2022, an opinion writer on the Fox News website caused a stir. I don't really watch any news, so this is new to me. The Fox News website caused a stir. Usually the Fox News is where conservative-leaning folks go to get their news, which is generally about politics and current events. But, you know, on that particular day, the writer David Marcus wrote about something. He said that he is a fan of Star Trek. So in his article, Marcus opined, he didn't point out, he opined, that's different, that Star Trek Discovery engaged in electioneering. When the show included a Democrat gubernatorial candidate from Georgia, Stacey Abrams, in the final episode of season 4. That's a new term, electioneering. What was that word? Electioneering. That's an interesting word. Kind of cool. So ultimately, the problem here is that the kind of political signaling is alternating for those fans who are not part of the Democratic Party political tribe. Man, that is so appropriate because they act like a toxic tribe. Totally toxic tribe. And the same thing could be said of the other side too. Remember, it's one fucking bird. As a fan myself, it hasn't made me turn off the show, but I sure as hell did. You know, I watch this stuff so that way I can talk about it and commentary on it on YouTube and stuff like that. But, you know, watching for enjoyment has certainly not been. Hasn't been enjoyable. Bad written stories, political agendas. So, yeah, exactly. It's a trash fire. So it's jarring also to break the narrative, dispel the fantasy of science fiction. I agree. bring real world bullshit into it and you distract from the frickin' story. Back to the article, which is why people tune in the first place. Yeah, we tune in because we want to tune out. We don't want reality in our TV shows. Doesn't matter whether it's sci-fi, doesn't matter whether it's the TV show 911. You wear a fucking mask in that goddamn TV show, guess what? I'm turning it off. I don't want nothing to do with reality when it comes to my entertainment, my TV shows. So get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. So Marcus charged that recently Star Trek was engaged in attracting a woke audience and is interested in scoring cheap, predictable, and partisan political points. He also disapproved of the use of the footage from the January 6th insurrection as part of the first episode of Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Yeah, I didn't necessarily agree with that myself either, because that's all bullshit. Everything is bullshit. Everything on media, everything on TV is a lie. It's for entertainment. That's it. Entertainment, that's all it is. News, media, it's all written. It's owned by 7 corporations. Who cares? I'm not interested in what the news media has to say at all. I'm not interested in what left or the right has to say at all, because I got my own opinions, and I'm myself. I'm my own person. I don't need them to think for me. I don't need Hollywood to think for me. Artists can always have and should use their work to uphold a mirror up to the culture and society, even to advocate for a broad agenda items, said Marcus in his article. What they shouldn't do is beam the equivalent of a 30-second Democrat Party political ad into the middle of a space adventure. And you know what? No one wants that shit. I don't want to see it. I don't want to be reminded of the real world. I want to watch a space opera or a Star Trek trekking into space, and I don't want to see no stupid political stunts, no messaging, no pandering. I don't care. And a lot of people feel that way too. I guess I should have done something about that. So, the article caused a stir at Trek fans, which were heavy cover it at the time. Many fans, writers, and others who are involved with Star Trek pushed back. Of course, it's the fans that are racist, and that's kind of how they push back with that shit. And afterward, the issue seemed not to be something people were talking about. That is, until June 4, 2022, at the AwesomeCon event in Washington, D.C. Thousands of fans gathered to celebrate their favorite geek franchises, and chatters among those fandoms represented by Marvel, DC, Star Wars, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Ghostbusters, Stranger Things, anime, independent comic creators, and hundreds of others. So, a few big names headlined the event, including Anthony Daniels, C-3PO, from the Star Wars film, Simu Liu, Marvel Shang-Chi, and Star Trek Discovery star Anthony Rapp and Wilson Cruz. They also signed autographs and spoke on the main stage. So Rapp and Cruz spoke about various topics, many of which were not related to their Star Trek roles. You know what? If they're not talking about their roles in Star Trek, I got no fucking interest in hearing what they got to fucking say outside of Star Trek. So, do us all a favor, shut up, study Star Trek, portray your roles like good actors like you're supposed to, and shut the hell up. We don't want to hear anything other than Star Trek, because that's what it's about. Star Trek, space travel, warp speed, beam me up, Scotty, all that stuff. So, Rapp and Cruz spoke about various topics, many of which were not related in the roles. The audience gathered at the Walter E. Washington Convention Center was able to ask questions directly to Cruz and Rapp. I wonder how many of those questions were censored. Cruise spoke about his time on Broadway and as part of a cult classic show, My So-Called Life. Who fucking cares? He also explained why he moved back to the East Coast and why people should consider going to a therapist regularly. You know what? For those that need, go take care of your stuff. That's good. But this seems like a rather not the venue to be talking about goddamn therapists. It's a fucking Star Trek convention. Fans also applauded him for his recent award from GLAAD. Rapp also answered many questions about his time on Broadway. Yeah, once again, not talking about Star Trek. Broadway smash hit Rent. Rent fucking sucked. Didn't care for it, didn't like it, didn't rent it, didn't go see it, had nothing to do with it, didn't give a shit. Why do I care about Rent when I'm talking about Star Trek? You know what I'm saying? That's what's wrong with these fucking actors. This is about Star Trek. Fucking Star Trek convention. He shared a story on how the cast got together. And I'm sure they got together and rubbed all their fifis and their feelings and put their feelings on their sleeves and stuff. And oh, that was a different reality. Who knows? Back to the article. Cast got together to mourn and celebrate the life of the show's creator just after his tragic death. I'm surprised they didn't even fucking know his name. Really. They're all concerned about being woke this, woke crap, this, and all that shit. And, just make Star Trek. Audience member Denise Norris stepped up to the microphone and asked Cruise and Rapp about the recent comments and controversy. Every day, I read some op-ed that says, oh my god, Star Trek has become woke, and Norris, Star Trek has always been woke. No, bullshit. It hasn't been woke. It was advanced. It pushed things that most people didn't understand or know about. It was revolutionary. It was a good thing. It pushed good ideas. They were a little bit more modern. They pushed certain narratives, but it was positive. Not woke. Woke is when you pander fucking politics, gender replacement, and all that stuff, and put that in your movies. That's woke. When you switch characters from white to black or black to white, it's wrong. Character legacy, canon, does that matter at all? My question for the two of you is, we're doing queer representation and we're finding that frontier, Norris said, so where's our next frontier in Star Trek? As a community of creators and enjoyers, art for consumption. Where do we go next? What's the franchise going to take community we live in that vision? Folks, Star Trek is not about your community or about where you live or about where you're at. Star Trek is a science fiction space TV show or movie, depending on how you look at it. And it's for imagination. It's for thinking of new worlds and visiting new planets and science and discovering new microbes. Wrong sandbox. Wilson Cruz, okay? Rapp answered first saying that Star Trek had a lot of adventures that still have not gotten any screen time. Of course, he's gonna signify, he's gonna poke fun at all the fans who want serious Star Trek. Back to the article. I think there's still a lot of sort of trans and gender queer stuff that hasn't really been fully explored, said Rapp. So there's that, and beyond that, I'm not exactly sure. Alright, here's the thing. Y'all need to go check out Mercedes Lackey and how she writes queer characters, LGBT characters, gay men, gay women, you name it. She writes a good story. You folks in Hollywood need to go read her stories and then use her template for characters, because she never put their sexuality first. It's the story, stupid. It's the story, stupid. So, I think there's always more, like Star Trek has done a beautiful job of using culture and language. No. The current people, like Klutzman and all those other people, JJ-fied bullshit, is basically Put that there. So think about that for a minute. Trek has done a beautiful job. No, not Trek. The fans are Star Trek. The fans represent that. The true fans that love Star Trek. Love the story, love the writing. And legacy characters, you should not change their race. Because what you're doing is you're telling people subliminally that this race isn't good enough. And that's basically what I get from that. Captain Robert April was a ginger. He had red hair. Look at the animation when he got himself young in that animation, that cartoon. His hair was red. Yeah. So I come from a family line of gingers. You can see the red in my beard, and my hair turns the color of brass in the sun. When I'm in a place where there's lots of sun, I'm in Washington State, so it's cloudy 6 months out of the year. So Trek has done a beautiful job. Yeah, they've done a beautiful job, all right, at ruining Star Trek. Culture and language ideas like to explore, the use of alien races, alien cultures. As always, to explore our own political mirror. Once again, get your fucking politics out of Star Trek. We don't fucking care about that. We don't want your crap. We don't want your bullshit signifying. We just want to watch a good show. Science fiction, creativity, great story, hero's journey. Sexuality, second. That shit don't matter. That ain't part of the story. Oh, political mirror. So I think that's always really exciting, so I'm not exactly sure that at the moment, honestly. How many groans were happening at that moment at the convention? Cruz agreed with Rapp, of course he would. Went on to share a few additional thoughts. Fucking woke-ass people, I'm telling you. I think you're right. I think that hard to say, Cruz said. Yeah, fucking don't make me goddamn laugh. Reflection of the times that being made, and oh my god, I'm having a hard time even just reading that shit. So, I'm going to link the article here, and I'm going to let you read the rest of that shit if you choose to, because that's what it is. Shit. So, we'll leave you with that. Let's just scroll and see what the rest of it was saying and how long this stupid thing was. Well, I think that's about it. Pop-up blockers will work real good. Yes, they are. So, we'll say adieu to you. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Say hello.
Hello.
Hello. Say hello.
Hello.
Say nerd fun. Nerd fun. Nerd fun. Say goodbye. Goodbye.